Hey you guys, I'm back with another video, and today I'm about to be talking about, this season of Married at First Sight. And I kind of watched a little bit more. I finished watching episode 3 of Married at First Sight, but I was just like, I didn't really fully get all my thoughts scattered about the season, so I'm just gonna be doing a brief recap on the whole Married at First Sight season, what I think about some of the couples. I won't be talking about all the couples because we are only on episode 3. Did I say season 3? We're only on episode 3, and I think I only saw that we had 2 couples that had a little bit of problem. And I honestly noticed that a lot of the friends that are who are supporting these couples, when the couples people the husband, the wife, they have their friends giving opinions. I feel that Michelle's friends were a little bit harsh towards David, because David was trying to ask questions about Michelle at one point, and then all the friends were don't try to switch the topic on us, we're still talking about you. So it's I feel that a lot of the friends of these couples, and I saw people posting this on Reddit, are very harsh on these couples when it comes to them getting married and stuff like that, which to me is a little bit crazy, because I'm just it's very, very crazy how I'm just seeing all these couples get married, and then at the parties, the after wedding parties that they go to, all of a sudden it's the friends of these couples are just really mean to them. They're asking and even the families of these couples and the wife and the husband are very harsh to how they ask the questions, kind of just how in Love is Blind, where some families are kind of just strict and kind of just so hard-headed when it comes to these people's marriages and stuff like that. And it's kind of interesting how I'm just starting to see this is the season where I've seen of Married at First Sight where it's been the most strictest parents, brothers, families, friends just being strict on the husband or wife. But then I kind of could see why now, because I really want to get into David and Michelle, and I think that's really it. But I really want to get into David and Michelle. This video is dedicated to David and Michelle, and basically what I think about David and Michelle and how they are as a couple, and just my opinions on them, my opinions about them as a couple, what I really just think about them. I just the energy was just very weird to me. When it came to David and Michelle, the energy was extremely weird. I was just what is going on? Is everybody okay? But so I think David and Michelle, they get married, and they get married at the altar, and then as they're going to sit down to talk about other things, David mentions that he still lives with his parents, and so you kind of have Michelle's heart simmer down, and it reminded me of Nick and Hannah's relationship from Love is Blind. I feel that Nick and Hannah's relationship is giving David and Michelle, but Michelle is a little bit more lenient towards David on it. And I think Michelle might be a Hannah 2.0, because in the previews we see Michelle basically being oh, Dave, you have your mom doing that stuff for you. And so once David tells Michelle hey, yo, bro, look, I live with my parents, Michelle's heart kind of simmers down. And in my head I'm girl, of course your heart about to simmer down, because at the age of 35, mind you, you still living with your parents, living with your, and she kept on asking, but you live with your parents in your parents' basement. I was just I feel that at the age of and I don't know why I gave Nick some slack when we saw he lived with his parents still. But I'm just I'm expecting that at the age of 35, you're kind of independent on your own and stuff like that, and making your own decisions, and having your own identity. And I feel that before marriage you should not be. And I saw if you guys watch Real Talk with Yanni, she was reviewing the Love is Blind season 7 couples, and she was reviewing Nick and Hannah, and she was basically saying she would not want to be with someone like Nick, because she's if somebody lives with their parents in their parents' basement, she's on Love is Blind, or Married at First Sight, that just can't happen. I feel that you have to establish grown stuff before you get into marriage. I'm just like, how do you go from living with your parents, being coddled by your parents, being coddled by your family, holding on to your family? It's kind of just like maybe you're too attached to your family, and then it's like, how do you go from being so attached to your family to the point where like you're living with your parents at the age of 35 to then going on Married at First Sight and being married to a wife? And then it's like, okay, so now it's like, all right, are you guys gonna move into my basement, or are we gonna go get up and move to like her apartment? Like, it's kind of a little bit silly, and it's just like, why is it like on like these shows like Married at First Sight and like Love is Blind that like the woman is more independent on more mature than the man? And that's why it made me think back on like when I was reading a study like years ago when I was in school. It like was like showing like, oh, like women seem to be more studious than men. The more women are going to med school than men. Men are like kind of like in finance, marketing. They're like doing the lazier majors in college. Like women are more smarter, studious. They study more. They study harder. They're more clean. Like they clean better. It's just like, why is it that the women are always like basically the man? Like, why is it that like the women on this show, they're the man? And it's just like, then like the guy is like, oh, like, so since I live with my parents' house, you're gonna have to pay all of our bills. Or it's just like, it's kind of just reminding me of like, I don't know, it reminded me of that couple from season 5 Love is Blind. I forgot what their name was, but it reminded me of that couple from season 5 of Love is Blind, where like they had that whole financial issue, which to me was so traumatizing for me to watch. It was so traumatizing for me to watch. Like, you guys don't understand. Y'all don't understand. Like, I lost sleep over that. Like, I lost sleep. Like, that was traumatizing. But it reminded me of like season 5 of Love is Blind, where like that one couple, they had a financial issue. Then like the girl kind of rejected the guy and said no to him at the altar. It was so fucking stupid. But anyways, like it's just like, why am I seeing that like now, like a lot of couples, like they're getting into like so many like problems where like they're not even independent. Like they're not even independent. And so I'm kind of just like watching David and Michelle as like the Married episode goes on. Mind you, I wasn't really doing like a deep dive when I was watching these couples, but I'm really watching like David and Michelle, and it seems that Michelle is like very paranoid by David. Like Michelle had to like step out, and she basically had to like go to the bathroom and like cry with her friends, and she's like, I just needed a moment, whatever, like that. And then David was like, where's my wife? And it's just super awkward. Like, did you not have this figured out? So I think he probably kind of feels a little bit rejected now, because now it's like Hannah is now stuck on this topic. Like, I'm sorry, Michelle is now stuck on this topic, because then when they get back into the hotels, like all the couples, Michelle asks David, like, so you still live with your parents? Like, and she just keeps on asking him, like, so you still live with your parents? And it's like, at this point, it's just like, it's kind of a lot. And I'm just like, where do we go from this? Like, where do the tables turn from this? So I'm really just trying to figure out, like, what are they gonna do? Like, what are they gonna do? And I'm just like, is Michelle going to like, because then I see in the previews that like this David and Michelle, they're deciding on like whether or not they want to stay together or get a divorce. Now, I don't know, but I mean, I still have hope. But I'm just like, will Michelle like divorce David after this season? Because it's just like, he don't really have his home place. Like, he don't really have his stuff together. I'm just like, how do you go from literally like being so attached to your family, where you're living with your family, to then going on a marriage show where it's like, okay, like when you live with your parents too, you can't make your own, it's hard for you to make your own decisions. Like, your kind of decisions is on like your mom and dad's decision. And I'm like, okay, like, yeah, you could still act independent while living in your parents' basement, but it's just like, you don't really have the experience of like really, and I know he has lived on his own before, but then like I believe then like now he like moved back into his parents' basement because of like some situation he had. I forget what, I can't comprehend it off the top of my head. But so now you have basically David living with his parents, and it's just like, okay, so now it's like when you guys like move in together, it's like, okay, how are we gonna learn how to pay bills together? Like, how are we gonna learn how to do certain stuff together? And it's just, to me, it's just a level of just like, where do we go from? Because it's just like, okay, if I only have experience of like paying my own bills, living in my own apartment, and it's just like, am I gonna pay all the bills? Like, what if you don't know how to pay bills to the point where I'm gonna be paying all the bills? I'm paying all like the TV bill, the phone bill, like, and it's just like, okay, then will you take advantage of me? Like, well, then you basically try to use me as your mom, and it's just like, okay, like now you're living with me. To me, this is just so confusing. Like this, I really just want to dedicate this video to like David and Michelle, because all the other couples, like, they seem fine to me as of now. I know there was this one couple where like a brother was asking, I think it was Aikicha, whatever his name is, who was the one who's with yeah, the one who's with the black couple. It was like this. I think it was maybe MM's brother, or like like someone from MM's family, who was like kind of like testing Aikichi, and they were kind of just like asking him questions that was like really deep. I heard that's like someone also has cheated in the past relationship, so it's like there has been a lot of red flags with these couples. So for like, I've been seeing a lot of red flags with these couples, and I'm just like, what is happening? What is happening? Like, what is really happening? And I'm like, there's so many red flags right now in this episode where I'm just like, I don't really have faith for any of the couples yet. Maybe my mind will change, and I better be wrong. Honestly, I wanted to just make this a short video because I do not have time to just keep on ranting about David, Michelle. I don't really have a lot to say about the other couples because I mean, a lot didn't really happen. I wasn't really paying attention. I'm gonna be recapping. I'm gonna just be doing a brief recap for like the Married at First Sight season, because I don't really watch Married at First Sight a lot, and it's kind of boring to me. But like, this Chicago season seems like it's going to be really juicy, so I'm just like, I want to really keep on recapping this season. And then I also want to kind of review other shows like Black and Perry, like Beauty and Black. I want to recap more Netflix shows. I want to recap more scripted reality TV shows. Like, I want to recap more shows like that, and just more documentaries. I just want to also, I want to recap the there was also this scam with like, there's like a couple who has 6 children, and like the mom and dad, like they're living in an apartment with the 6 children, and the mom and dad, they're sleeping in like the bedroom apartment, because it's like a 1-bedroom apartment, and it's like all the kids are sleeping in the living room. You have all the kids sleeping in like the living room. You have the kids sleeping, like, you have people sleeping on the floor basically, where they could get roaches. So it's like, I'm gonna talk about that as well. I have so much topics to talk about on this channel, but tune in for more on this video. Hit the notification bell. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tune in for more, and I will see you on my next video. Bye bye.